When's the last time you set a fitness goal? And I don't mean you just were like, hey, I want to get in shape. I mean a true goal. And what is a true goal? And how do we know whether we're setting the right goals for ourselves? I'm diving into that. So strap in, get ready for this episode 210. Let's go.
The future of fitness.
How do you gain muscle mass?
Fitness is not complicated. It's simple when you break it down.
There's so much information out there.
No fads, no diets, just plain simple habits.
You're listening to the Bones to Bulk podcast.
Hey, welcome to today's episode. My name is Brian Parody, and I will be your host today. And if this is your first time tuning in, welcome to the show. So glad to have you here. For my return listeners, thank you for coming back. It really, I know I say this every time, but it means the world to me that you continue to tune into this podcast because it would not be possible without you. If you haven't joined my text community, I don't know what you're waiting for. Text the word podcast to 706-222-7551. You'll be joined. You'll get a couple of confirmation texts. And then from there on out, everything does come directly from me. I get a lot of people who message me at the number and are like, is this a bot? Is this just spam? Like, no, those messages come to me. The first couple of messages are automated. However, after that, everything does come from me. And you can ask me questions at that number. It is a secondary number for me, so I don't check it every single day because I'd be on there all the time. But if you have a question, feel free to shoot it to me at that, and I will get back to you within a few days because I check it a few times a week. All right, with that being said, let's dive in. So goal setting. I know that may not sound like a fun topic, but it really is, because ultimately, how do we even know if we're making progress if we don't have a goal we're working towards? We can set out and we can just kind of have zero plan, zero, idea of what the hell we want. And guess what? If we set out that way, nothing's going to happen. Think of it this way. Let's say you want to go on a vacation and you're like, I want to see the Pacific Ocean. And you live on the East Coast and you just get in your car and start driving. You may hit the Atlantic Ocean. You may hit the Gulf of Mexico. You don't know. If you don't have a plan with how you're getting there, you may never reach your destination. And it's the same way with fitness. If you don't know exactly what you want, you're already in trouble. But rest assured, it's very easy to redirect. So the first thing is sit down and ask yourself, what is it that I really want? And I want you to keep asking why. Don't just say, why do I want to be in shape? And then maybe your answer is, well, I want to be able to keep up with my kids. Why is it important to keep up with your kids? And maybe it's, well, because, I didn't have that, or I did have that, and I want to provide that for my kids. Okay, well, why is it important for that to be a priority with your kids? And then keep digging, keep asking yourself why, keep trying to figure out what it is that is motivating you and driving you. Because I promise you, on those days when you feel like throwing in the towel, those days when you feel like giving up, those days where you feel like this is just shitty and I want to drink Coke and eat a pizza and down wings and everything else that under the sun that's unhealthy for me, like that's what can keep you going. Remembering your why, remembering your motivation behind that why. So that's the first thing I always recommend doing is, what is your why? The second thing is formulating a plan. Don't just say, I want to get in better shape. What does better shape look like to you? Maybe it's packing on 30 pounds of muscle. Maybe it's dropping 30 pounds of fat. Maybe it's being able to run for 20 minutes straight without stopping to walk some. Maybe it's being able to bench press a certain amount of weight. We all have different goals, and that's fine. Like, we're all uniquely individual. My goals are going to be different than your goals, and your goals are going to be different than the next person's. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's the way it should be. There shouldn't be this cookie cutter, well, everybody should be able to bench press 400 pounds, and everybody should be able to squat 500 pounds and do the 1,000-pound club. And like, no. That if that doesn't line up with your goals, why are you going to work towards that when it has nothing to do with what you want from fitness? Or maybe you want to run in a marathon. Well, okay, strength training is important for that, for leg strength, for muscular development. But there's also a lot of other things you need to be implementing, like running and doing a lot of cardio and doing other types of cardio, building up that endurance. Like, your end goal matters so much with what your training on a weekly and daily basis looks like. And again, don't set this goal based on what others are telling you should look like or be able to do, or what, your neighbor does or your friend. Like, what do you want? Because if you don't enjoy your workout, if you don't enjoy the things you're doing, you're not going to stick with it. Now, let me caveat off that saying you're not always going to enjoy it, just period. There's going to be tons of days when you don't want to work out, when you don't want to eat healthy. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, though, that there is something about the type of exercise you do, the type of fitness you do that you really do enjoy. I know people who absolutely love biking. They get on their bike and it's just like they go and it relieves stress and they're getting a workout in. My wife is a runner. She says all the time that running is her therapy. I don't get it because I feel like I need therapy after I get done running. So all of us are so different. For me, it's the gym, then strength training. That is my therapy. I go in there and I feel so much better when I leave there, whether it's mental, whatever's going on. So we all have different things, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Again, don't put yourself in a box of that you have to be this way. You have to lift this amount. You have to have it's a crazy 8-pack or whatever. Like, don't buy into the hype. That's just hype. That's social media and these fitness influencers that are, their bodies are photoshopped beyond belief. And it's like, you've got to take a step back and look at yourself and ask yourself, what would I be happy with? What would make me happy? And focus on that. That's all you should be focusing on. And I know it's hard. Sometimes we can get so sucked into just the game. And it really is a game of who can beat who and who can look better than who and social status and all this stuff. And that's not what it's about. It's about feeling good on the inside. I say all the time, the biggest changes that happened for me weren't the physical. Sure, the physical changed for me, but my mental space changed. I think completely differently than I used to think. Why? Because fitness taught me that I can accomplish things, and it gave me confidence to go and chase other things and expanded my horizons. And I feel good. I feel strong. And that makes all the difference in the world. Like here's another story. I once thought that I had to be a certain way. Like I was just convinced I got to get this way. I got to get this way. I got to get this way. And I finally got to it after a lot of work. And I felt terrible. And I didn't look that good. And I was like, this isn't what I thought it would be. I thought I needed to be this, but it turns out I don't. And so I went back to a different way and I felt so much better. And I think I looked a lot better. And it was just this idea that I had in my head that I had to, be at this number because so-and-so was at this number, or because that was just kind of the standard number that everybody's at. Like, no, do you. Like, it's okay to figure out what you want and where you want to be and what makes you happy, what makes you feel good. Because literally that's like the purpose of all of this. Like, yeah, fitness sucks and we have to push ourselves through pain, but it also makes us feel great. It really does. Maybe not the first couple weeks when you start and you're going through all that muscle soreness and all that stuff, but it does the longer you do it. You feel good about what you're doing and what you're accomplishing and just how you feel on a daily basis. So set up that specific goal, and then time frame it out. Set a timeline and be reasonable with it. None of this, I want to lose 50 pounds in a month. It's not happening. It's not happening. Things just don't work that way. Or you're not going to gain, on the opposite, you're not going to gain 30 pounds of muscle in a month. Things take time. Give yourself time. Measurable goals. 1 to 2 pounds a week, whether you're gaining or losing, is a reasonable amount. And that gets harder and harder the closer you get to your goal. So it may be lower than that. But starting off, that should be your goal, 1 to 2 pounds a week. Focus on that. So let's say you want to gain or lose 8 pounds. Well, guess what? Plan on that taking at least 1 to 2 months. Just 8 pounds. And go slow, stick with it, stay consistent. Consistency always wins. It always wins. It's not about quick fixes. If there's a quick fix, guess what? It's not going to last. It's not going to last. That's why I hate all these fad products and these things that say burn belly fat or these crazy fad diets that drop a lot of weight off you, because guess what? It all comes back. It doesn't last. Because true change, things that you can stick with, things that you can sustain over the long haul, they take time to do. They take time to build. So don't be discouraged when things take time. Set that goal, manageable goals, realistic goals, and stick with it. All right, if you're on any social media platform, please check me out. I am everywhere at Bones to Bulk. We have a great Facebook community of people from literally all walks of life, all stages of the journey, from very beginner to other trainers in there. So check that out. Again, Facebook, and just search Bones to Bulk and join the group. Would love to have you a part. All right, with that being said, remember, no matter what you're facing, what walls you're coming up against, you can hit any goal that you set your mind to. You've got this.